Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so in this video I'm going to make forex trading so easy for you that even if you have no idea and you're a complete beginner, you can navigate through the market perfectly. It's like a market navigator or a market compass. It's like once you're going through the market, you need a compass, or once you're going through a desert, a place where you're not sure, you need a compass. And believe me, this is your compass. You're not going to hear me say anything of order block, of liquidity, and a whole lot of these confusing names that a whole lot of these forex mentors name to you just to confuse you. It's going to be simple and short. Let's jump straight into the market. So first things first, we're going to start with Euro USD because I just entered the trade not so long ago on Euro USD. Now, let me make it clear. This is actually a wrong timing to enter a trade because this is actually an Asian session. You can see the time is 2:47 a.m. So this is actually an Asian session, Friday. And another thing, today is Friday. So today is the last day of the week where the market will be open because the Forex market is open 24/5. Right now, we can see the reason I entered this trade was I entered it for a sell. I entered it for a very, very simple reason. And I'm going to explain it to you. Now, first things first, if we go out on a daily time frame, and if we have a larger picture of how Euro USD, because this is Euro USD. Now, if we have a larger picture on how Euro USD has been going, we can see that Euro USD has quite been on an uptrend. Now, this is a daily time frame. Maybe if we go to the monthly, okay, I don't want to work with the monthly because the monthly is on a downtrend. The monthly is actually on a sell, right? From what we've seen, the weekly is on an uptrend. The weekly clearly is on an uptrend, and then the daily is on an uptrend. Now, you could be wondering, how am I mentioning this thing so seamlessly? Because I'm a pro in the forex market and I've been here for a long time that I can just look at it and tell. But right now, let's start with the daily. So if we're looking at this daily, the market is on an uptrend where it's making higher highs and higher lows. So we're going to mark out the highs and the lows. So this is a low point, right? So where is the high of this market? So let's move together. So this is a low and this is a high. So this is the origin, and then this is what is called a higher high, and this is a higher low, and this is a higher high, and then this is a higher low, and on and on and on and on. So if we're going to go to the new low, so this is the new higher low. Now, where's the new higher high? The new higher high is formed right here. Now, you need to understand that as long as this market stays within this range, within here and here, the market is still on an uptrend. Although if it stays too long and maybe starts doing this, and sometimes it could act like it's going out but still comes back in and starts doing all this, you could say the market is a ranging market. Yeah, it's consolidating, but still, I mean, it is not on a downtrend, it is still on an uptrend. But then again, you need to understand that as long as the market does not stay within here and it breaks above, it is still making higher highs and higher lows. If the market for any reason comes all the way below and retests, all of a sudden automatically is on a downtrend. The market has changed direction automatically. And I see this within a whole lot of forex traders that don't really know when the market changes direction. This is what is called a change of structure. If the market for any reason breaks below, comes down to retest, and comes back here again, then we're going to say, ladies and gentlemen, this is a change of structure. So then we're going to call this a change of structure. So this is a simple and clear change of structure, but unfortunately it did not do that. So after this high, where's the new low? The new higher low, ladies and gentlemen, is right here. So once the new higher low has been formed, then where's the new higher high? Right here. So now you see that this is the new higher high and this is the new higher low. As long as the market stays within this range and does not break below, it is still on an uptrend. And like I said before, if it does it so much, then maybe it has changed to a downtrend, but still it's on an uptrend. And then if for any reason the market comes below, breaks below here, retests, it is automatically on a downtrend. That is a change of structure, but a change of structure has not happened. So this is the new higher high, this is the new higher low. Then let's go to the new higher low. We have to move the low first. The new higher low is right here, and then the new higher high, ladies and gentlemen, is obviously right here. So this is the new higher high. So after the new higher high, where's the new higher low? The new higher low is right here. So after this higher low, where's the new higher high? The new higher high is right here. And then where's the new higher low? Right here. So and this is a daily time frame. And we started from here. So from about 25th of January, if we trace it down, or 25th of February. So for about 5 months right now, the market has not even had a change of structure in Euro USD. So for about 5 months, Euro USD has been on a bullish trend, has been going to the upside for 5 months. And we can see the trend is a pretty clean trend. There is nothing to hide about it. The trend is a pretty clean trend. Now, in this case, we know that Euro USD is on an uptrend. So if we now come down to the lower time frames, we're looking for buying opportunities, most likely. Now, you could ask, if Euro USD is on an uptrend, then why did I take that sell? Yeah, because the market makes retests. Now, remember, whenever the market goes up, it comes down. Whenever the market goes up, it comes down. Now, as a professional trader, if you see that the market is done going up, it is most likely going to come down. And if you're sure that the market is done going up, then why not? You can actually take the advantage of the market's retests and then take the markets to the downside. You can actually take the advantage of it. That is, if you're sure that the market is done going up, then at this point, you will now expect the market to still push to the upside, because that's what the forex market does. And maybe from here you can now enter another buy if you want. So literally, that is what I did when I took my trade. Now if we go back to the pair right here, we can see this place in which the markets, let's come back to marking this. Remember, this was the low and then this was the high, and then this was the high. Now you see that the markets came back to respect this high zone. This high zone that was respected and retraced, the markets tried and made all his way back down to this zone. So this is what you would most likely call a key level. I mean, if you had a third touch, I could perfectly call this a key level. But then again, there's something about this market. Now, if we zoom in to have a bigger picture, right here, let's come down to the 45 minutes. I think the 1 hour would have done justice to it more, but then let's come back to the 45 minutes. Now, in the 45 minutes, we see that the markets did right here what is called a double top. Now, a double top basically is when the markets, at some point when the market feels it is done going to the upside. So it makes higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and comes here. But instead of making a full low, retest 2 times. At this point, you know that the market is obviously going to go to the downside. Now, note, all this, the market could be making minor retests at this point in time. Maybe it could be, up, down, up, down. The market could somehow be making minor retests, because obviously it is the forex market, so you cannot completely predict how the market would go. But then the market could be making, higher highs and higher lows, and maybe even some consolidation. Then to the downside, then another higher high. Then it now makes that double top that we're talking about. It will most likely come back here, bounce, retest, then starts making lower lows and lower highs to push it all the way to the downside, to make another higher low, to then create another higher high all the way to the upside. That's how the forex market works. It is so simple. So if the market has been making higher highs and higher lows at this point, and there was somewhere in the market where it made like a double top, something like this, we should expect the market to go to the downside, because there are rules in the market that respect double tops and double bottoms. Double tops when the market comes here, touches 1 and 2, it will most likely push to the downside. Double bottoms when the market is on the opposite direction, comes 1, 2, then it will most likely push to the upside. That is just how double tops pushes to the downside, double bottom pushes to the upside. Basically, that is how it works. So when we see things like this, we understand the flow of the forex market. Right now, this is on a 1 hour time frame, and you see, even on the 1 hour time frame, we can count a whole lot of times where the market went to the upside, came to the downside, went to the upside. We can still do the exact same thing if you want. And I have a whole lot of trades and a whole lot of pairs to analyze right now, so I'm not really going to do everything exactly so you're going to see it. But then again, let's do the exact same thing. Now we can see the market has higher highs and higher lows, and this is a quite clean one because we can see that the market respects its setup. So let's see how the market moves with this. This is a high, this is a low, this is a high because it's on an uptrend, and then this is a higher low. Now in this higher low, where's the next higher high? You could say this is the next higher high. Now after the next higher high, where's the next higher low? Right here. Next higher high here, next higher low here, next higher high here, then the next higher low. Now this is where you have to be careful. Now the next higher low, you can see right here, the next higher low breaks below the previous higher low. Does it make sense? The next higher low breaks below the previous higher low. So automatically, remember, automatically this right here, just to zoom in a little bit so you're going to have a clear vision. Automatically, this triangle, you can see, this triangle right here is a change of structure. But then I personally would not call it a change of structure. Instead, I would call it a break of structure. Instead, I will call it a break of structure. The reason I'm going to call it a break of structure is because there was no lower high to solidify. Now, let me explain what I mean basically. Now, as we've said, the market's making highs and lows, and then higher high, and then the previous higher low breaks below, or the next higher low breaks below the previous higher low. He always creates this triangular form right here. But then again, it needs a lower high to solidify, and I mean a lower high like this to come and solidify, to start pushing to the downside. Automatically the market has changed direction, right? But then if it does not make a lower high to solidify, and what I mean is if it does this higher high, higher low, higher high, and then the next higher low breaks the previous one, but then it still pushes up, it is just take it to still be on an uptrend. Just take it to still be on an uptrend because it's still pushed up to break above this one. Now you can see this is a higher triangle. It's still pushed up to break above this one, then maybe even creates another higher low and then moves to the upside. But then if it does this, if it breaks below and then comes to solidify here and push to the downside, then you can see the market has had a change of structure. So I'm not really going to completely call this a change of structure. Instead, I'm going to call it a break of structure, because at this point we see it still broke above this previous one. So proceeding, we now come here, which obviously you can call it a break of structure or a change of structure if you will, and then this is the next one. But then again, we can see the market made a higher high here, and then this is the new low. So overall, on the 1 hour time frame, it is also bearish. Sorry, it is also bullish. I make these mistakes sometimes. It is also bullish. So now we can see the reason I took the sell was because whenever the market goes above, it always come back down to retest. Now we can see where the market currently is a place where the market had a very strong break of structure. Now this was the previous high, and then we can see the previous low, and then all of a sudden the new high And then all of a sudden, the new high is now here, and then the new low is here, and boom, it just breaks all the way here. So if it breaks all the way here, it is expected to have a low. And then if we come down to a lower time frame, we can now really understand why I did take the trade. One, like I said, it is expected to have a low. Then two, that initial double top I was speaking about, the double top right here, it has literally played itself. So we can see that there's a double top right here, a top and a top, and it's even retesting, in which, yeah, I know before our eyes it has actually hit my stop loss, but I had no stop loss on this trade, so the trade is still long. I'm still expecting it to push all the way to the downside. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is NZD-CHF. Now for NZD-CHF, we can see this is on a weekly time frame. Clearly, NZD-CHF is on a bearish momentum, on a downtrend. Is going for shorts, okay? Now for NZD-CHF, how are we going to analyze this trade if we're expecting to take this trade? Now, first things first, the simplest thing, NZD-CHF is going for sells. Now, because NZD-CHF is going for sells, does that mean we should click the sell button automatically? No. Let's do our analysis together. On a weekly time frame, is on a downtrend, right? It's going for sells. So we very much expect the markets to still push to the downside. Now let's do what we've been doing before. So this is a high, and then this is a low. So where's the next lower high? Now we have to zoom in, so it's going to be clear. So we're going to have a better picture. So the next lower high is right here. This is the next lower high. And then the next lower low is here. And then it goes on, next lower high, next lower low. This is more like a consolidation. Next lower high, next lower low. And another consolidation, but then it does a good lower high again. And then the next lower low is right here. The next lower high is right here. And then we can see exactly this spot. This is why I love analyzing the markets like this. Now exactly this spot where we have the lower low and the lower high. Now this is where the wick come in. Yes, I know why I placed it on the wick. Sometimes it's not really advised to place it on the wick, but for the fact that the wick has actually come here, the wick is actually respected. So we can place this on the wick, and now we can see. So as long as this market breaks below, we're expecting the market to go for sales. Now, this is exactly what I told you about Euro USD. Now remember, this is NZD-CHF. Now it broke below this low. You see the market had this ginormous push to the downside below this low. And then what happened is retesting. So because the market is retesting, what are we expecting right now? There's a low, a break, there's a push back up, there's a break, there's a push back up. What are we expecting? Obviously another break. So if that is the case, we can see right here in the market, there's a break, there's a push back up, break, push back up, break, push back up. What's next? Obviously another break. So the market will keep on doing this until at some point in the market will come and break above, then come back to retest. Then we're going to say, yes, the market is now on an uptrend, and then we start going for buys. You understand? So basically, that is how the Forex market is. So when we have a scenario like this is so simple. So in this case, the market is actually on a downtrend. It is very simple. If this is the next low, so it means that this is the next lower low, and then this is the next lower high. That's why you see these two lines here. So let me delete this and this. So in between this is what we're working with. Now remember, we're looking for sells. So then if we go to the daily time frame right now, and if we pull this up, now from the daily time frame, we have seen what is called a head and shoulder. Now previously I told you about double tops. Double top is when the market is on an uptrend and it does 1, 2, then it's going to push to the downside, obviously. But then we now have head and shoulder. Head and shoulder could be up, could be down. But whenever, let's say, the market could be making higher highs and higher lows, but then it does something like this. Left shoulder, head, and then right shoulder is obviously also going to break below, retest, and push to the downside. That's how the Forex market is basically. So once we've gotten that head and shoulder in which we see right here, now if I would delete this so you're going to understand it clear, and I bring the head and shoulder to, this is the left shoulder, the head, ladies and gentlemen, the right shoulder. So we're expecting, this is the break, a break beneath. So we're expecting like a retest under this neckline, because this is the neckline, right? Let me delete this too so we're gonna see it. So this is the neckline. So we're expecting a break in which we've gotten the break. So now we're expecting a proper retest into this neckline, and it's going to look something like this. This is the break, this is the retest. Ladies and gentlemen, this trade is obviously going to the downside. And now that's one thing you need to know. So NZD CHF is another trade that's very seamless, very easy, most likely going for a sell. NZD CHF. So I'm going to be looking for sells, but this, remember, today is Friday, so this is not going to be, it's not going to be a trade this week. It's most likely going to be a trade for next week. So I'm going to be expecting something like this for NZD CHF. A break under, a retest, then to take it to the downside. That is basically for NZD CHF. All right, ladies and gentlemen, proceeding to the third and the last pair, which is USD CAD. Now, USD CAD, in which I've already done all the analysis, USD CAD, according to what I have been teaching you for a very long time, let us do the same analysis for USD CAD. Now, USD CAD is actually, is it on an uptrend or on a downtrend? Now, this is the one that could be very complicated. Now, let's take it together. First things first, let's delete all the drawings. Now, is USD CAD on an uptrend or a downtrend? According to the weekly time frame, let's count. Low and then high. Now, let us move together. First things first, zoom in. So this is the low and this is the high. Now, this is the higher low. Now, where's the new higher high? Obviously here. So for a while, it consolidated here because it did not break above. But finally, it did break above. And when it finally broke above, it went here. So this is the new higher high. And then we can now see this is the new higher low. Now, you see a trend here. Most times, whenever the market breaks above, it consolidates a little bit, right? That was a trend you saw in which it happened right here. Break above, consolidation. And then it's happening again right here. Break above, consolidation. It's happening again right here. Break above, consolidation. Listen, what you need to understand in the Forex market is that the Forex market will always repeat itself. Whatever happened yesterday is most likely going to happen again today. So it consolidated again, but then again, where's the new break? The new break finally is right here. So if this is the higher high, where's the new higher low? Now, this is where you could make a mistake. This is not the new higher low. This is not the new higher low. The new higher low is right here. This is the new higher low. We saw the up push and then this is the new higher low. And ladies and gentlemen, all of a sudden, this is what I've been waiting for. Then what happened? The market has been making higher highs, higher lows, higher high, higher low. But then what happened? Break under, and you see this break was higher than, or this break was lower than this break. Now you see this triangular formation right here that I've always been talking about. Once you see a triangular formation, then obviously the break has happened. The break must have happened. So let's go back. So there's a push to the upside, and then there's a retest. There's a pushback, and then there's a break which is lower than this break. So automatically, and why I would even trust this more is because it comes back here to retest. So automatically, this is on a downtrend. So this market is not on an uptrend, my friends. This market is on a downtrend. So we're going to be looking for selling potentials and selling momentums, because for USD CAD on the weekly time frame, it's on a downtrend. And we can see that there are key levels right here that the market have respected before now. We can trace this back from here. Is one key level that the market has respected. And there are various other key levels where the markets have respected, in which This is another minor key level. It's not that much, it's not that visible, but yeah, I mean, it's another key level. Now if we now come down to the daily time frame, now from the daily time frame, how are we going to actually look at this trade? Now from the daily time frame, it is still on a downtrend. If we still want to do the exact same protocol, just not to waste our time, the market lower low, lower high, lower low. Okay, let me use drawing tool. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and still we still expect it to create another lower low. But then again, if we now go, so actually the daily time frame is on a downtrend. Then if we now go to the 4 hours, now remember this is under a major key level. Now remember that key level I drew on the weekly time frame, this key level right here on the weekly time frame. You see it touched here, has come back to touch here. Now if we come to the 4 hours, we see it is directly under this key level. This is so mandatory, this is so important. It is directly under this key level. And now when it broke below this key level, this is like I analyzed Euro USD, I analyzed NZD CHF, and then this is USD card. I think this USD card is my favorite because this is so amazing. When it comes below this major key level, this major support and resistance zone, if we're under, we're selling. If we're above, we're buying. But because we're under, we should be looking for selling potentials. Can you look at this? This is a clean head and shoulder. Now we can see the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. Voila. This is exactly what we need to take this trade. This is a very important key level what we need to take this trade. So all we need right now is for this to come back into this zone, and then we take it to the downside. Ladies and gentlemen, it cannot get any more better than this. It cannot get any much more cleaner than this. This is one of the most amazing trades you can ever have right now. And we can see these are zones that the market has respected. It came here, came to this price, pushed to the downside, came to this price, rejected. I'm only drawing this so you all can see. You don't always need things like this, believe me, but I'm only drawing it so you all can see. So it came to this price, rejected, came to this price, bounced back off, came to this price also, and it's acting alongside it. Now I'm expecting this to actually push back. Now it may be pulling back down a little bit before it push, but I'm not going to enter this trade until this trade pushes to this side. Now whenever I upload this video, I don't know, but wherever you are, if you see this trade, USD card, you're free to enter, ladies and gentlemen. And I believe these are trades I called out for the week. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've learned a lot for today. Bye for now.